is going on YouTube? So we got a video. Well, we gotta talk about this. So as a lot of you know, in the past we talked about how I was building a collection for, I don't know. I lost the true meaning of why I was collecting at one point, and which led me to believe, the kind of the conclusion that I was addicted to collecting just because I liked the endorphin rush from getting video games. And so at one point I sold most of my collection, and I made some rules, some boundaries to my collecting that I was sticking to pretty good for months. After the holidays, so this is gonna be weird and awkward because this is actually kind of a pickup video, and I kind of said I wasn't gonna do these anymore, but I just thought that it was a good time to discuss something like this and what can happen if you just kind of start letting yourself go a little bit. Now, obviously, this is not insane. I didn't pick up 100 games or nothing like that, and I'm holding on to all these games. This was just kind of I ran into a lot of good deals lately, and that's really what it came down to. And it's always been games that I actually wanted, which was so I broke a few rules, and I have a few rules that I still followed. So one of the big rules that I did follow was I told myself, and I told a lot of you guys, that I would not purchase games unless I actually planned on playing them or keeping them for good, instead of just getting a bunch of fillers. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. But the only reason that I did break one of the rules was because I bought a few games at once. I had set up a boundary that I was only going to purchase 1 or 2 games a month, and only first if I beat a game. Now technically I did beat Silent Hill Remake 2. I'm almost done with Indiana Jones, but you know what? That still wasn't good enough. So let's just first off go by this. Now I'm going to show you a few of the games I got. I've only really gotten about 5 games, and one of them technically isn't even mine. It's my son's. He traded in some PS4 stuff, and he got a game for our PS5 to play together. So the only reason I'm showing that is because he would want me to show that. So now first off, I found this at a thrift store for $13. I believe that the mark on it, that 47, is the booth it was in, and at the time it actually had a 50% off coupon on all video games. So I ended up getting the Resident Evil Origins collection on PS4 for, what would that be, about $6 or $7 or something like that. So that's why I had to pick this one up, because you guys know I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series. I'm not extremely well at the games. You can't expect me to go S tier and beating them in super fast, but I am a fan of the games in general for lore and just gameplay itself. Now the next game was the game that my son picked up. He traded in, so over the Christmas time he had ended up getting several different PS4 games, mostly like new Madden, new NBA, and he wanted to trade in some of his old games. So he traded in a lot of his old sports titles and a few games, like I think he had like Minecraft story mode and stuff. But he picked up the Sonic Shadow Generations copy day one. It was used. I think we paid about $40 for it. We're going to be playing this here pretty soon, but he also picked up Mario and Sonic Olympics, and it's an old game now, I think from like 2020, but we've been playing the heck out of that lately. I've talked in a recent video how we don't play Switch much, but he picked that game up, and we've been having fun playing all the mini games and stuff like that on that. But we're interested. Yeah, he chose this himself. He asked if he can get a PS5 game, because we only allow him to play PS5 supervised because of all the options for online stuff nowadays on these consoles. I did a video in the past talking about you guys need to monitor your kids when playing some of this stuff, because of it's easy to prey for the most part when it comes to online stuff. So make sure that you're watching your kids while they're on a phone gaming and stuff like that, and make sure that they're not getting talked to by the wrong people. So he asked if he could get this one, so we're pretty excited. I personally probably would have never purchased this for myself, but since he bought it, I'm kind of excited to check it out with him. So there's 2 right there. Now the next one I picked up because I was at Walmart, and it was after Black Friday, and gosh, I think it was earlier this month, or earlier in January, and they had most of the stuff clearanced out from Black Friday and sitting out, and I think they had this mispriced or something like that, because they had this down to $10, and this is the Cowabunga collection on the PS5. This has all the old classic Ninja Turtle games, and it was one of those games that I was really just waiting for it to either go really extremely cheap digital, or like this. I paid $10 for this, And yeah, I'm ultra excited for this. Like you can tell, it's still sealed away. Haven't opened it yet, and that's what you're gonna see with these next two games. That's why I was kind of like, I felt like it was a bad thing that I did because I was buying these games sealed, hadn't even opened, and but the deals were too good to turn down. And the next one I've talked about, you guys saw probably the community post if you guys follow closely. A few days ago, I was at a truckload sale with my wife. We were looking at some of the stuff out there, and I ran across this randomly in a box, but I didn't even know they made this on the PS5, or physical, let alone on the PS5. But we have the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered on the PS5. 15 bucks. Now, I think it's not obviously that huge deal, but I think it was going for, somebody said around 25, maybe 30 bucks on Amazon at the time of the post. So, I mean, that was really cool to find. I got rid of my Tomb Raider games a while back because they just felt like they were sitting there. I had no actual urge to play them at the time. But I've heard people say that the controls have actually improved and it looks gorgeous on the PS5. So I'm definitely going to be playing this here pretty soon. And just, yeah, I was a big Tomb Raider fan back when the PS1 came out. Tomb Raider 2 was my jam. I loved that. I actually knew all the codes at one point because I didn't have memory cards, so I couldn't save levels. So I had to use codes to skip levels to keep going on with my game. And I remember too that we'd always go in the mansion and try and lock the butler in the freezer, which was a blast. I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. But now for the last game that I picked up is one I've been looking for a long time, and I had gotten a Target gift card. And I had seen this was finally back in stock when I looked, so I was extremely excited to get this. A lot of you know how big of a Final Fantasy fan I am, but I got the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on it. I could not believe this. I was super excited to see this finally. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I can't, you guys don't know how excited I was. Anniversary edition includes the Pixel characters sticker sheet. I don't care really about the sticker sheet, but being able to have all those Final Fantasy games in one spot now is amazing. I mean, obviously you can see kind of back there I have Final Fantasy 2. I cannot point in the right direction. Right there, Final Fantasy 2. I have behind me right there Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 1, and a Final Fantasy 7 remake for the NES. I'm just a huge fan of the RPG series, and I want to look more into this, but I can't remember if somebody said that they have save states on these or not, but I doubt it. But that'd be awesome if they did, because then it might actually allow me to play them a lot easier, because then I can play more on the go. Now, I guess at this point, you guys, if you're still watching or wondering what do I mean by I think I needed to make this video, it's just key that I kind of, if you want to talk in terms of addiction and stuff like that, I just bought too many games. And obviously I'm going to keep myself in check from now on, but I had somebody asking me, how it was going with not going overboard, and for the most part it was going great. And so to some people this is not going to be that crazy. Like, this is not insane. And I'm not, obviously, now if I would have popped up on here probably with 30 games or something like that, then a lot of you would be like, oh, he's done, he's back to collecting full-time again and stuff like that. And that's not the case here. Like I said, most of these games I either plan on playing and then selling, or they're going in the private collection and staying for good. That's the key component to a lot of this right here. Is that was the number one thing when I did a lot of this stuff, was I was going to keep games that I was going to actually play or had some kind of connection with my childhood. Obviously, Final Fantasy games, I loved every single one of them. Tomb Raider was a huge one for me for PlayStation 1. I remember beating 1 and 2 and then watching my buddy beat 3. Growing up, obviously all my friends had Turtles in Time. We played. I loved the first one on NES. I never got around to beating it, so hopefully, I can sometime soon with that. But obviously I would love to get around to playing this. This is my son's game that he wanted, but I'm looking forward to playing it with him. And I had to get this for my Resident Evil collection. I got most of the Resident Evil games, and I was really looking for the remastered Origins collection for my PS4. So Some of you will be like, oh man, you know what? He's buying games again, whatever. And it's whatever. And I don't have to justify it with anything. I got games that I want to play, and that's always been kind of the main goal now, is getting games I'm gonna actually play, not buying, Amped 2 or Madden, whatever, just to fill a shelf, just to make myself, have a bigger collection for YouTube, to make me look cool and stuff like that. It's actually going forward playing games I want to play. So I hope that point got across today. If not, it is what it is. But I want you guys to comment below what you guys thought about these, especially these remasters. Like I said, I've heard a lot of people say that Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 is awesome, and obviously the Final Fantasy Pixel Collection is amazing. Easy Gamer and a lot of those guys were like, you need to get this. It's absolutely gorgeous and amazing. And Easy actually sent me, I can't remember which Final Fantasy, if it was Anthology or what, for my original PlayStation 1, which I have a screen attachment that I'm going to play it here at some point too, but I might just kind of keep that one stored away and preserved and use this so I don't damage that other one. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay retro, my friends, and we will see you in the next video. God bless, guys.